He's an actor, and during the past 4 years, he's appeared in such shows as Nanny and the Professor, Cannon, and Gunsmoke. He was Elliot Gould's son in the film Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice. He loves hockey. He's very sports-minded. I'd like you to join me with a great big Halloween welcome for Leif Garrett. Leif?
Who do you love? Who do you love? Who do you love? Support them, and show them, Who do you love? Who do you love? Who do you love? Support them, tell them who do you love?
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And let me know down below, who do you love? Every decade has their appointed dreamy teen idol that takes over the airwaves. Before Justin Bieber, you had Leif Garrett. He was a household name in the 70s. With his good looks and talent, it took no time for the young actor and singer to have the young ladies going crazy just to get a piece of him. With living the life of a rock star at such a young age, it came with a lot of perks, but also with its own set of troubles. If you're wondering what the teen idol has been up to, don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's go. Leif Garrett was born on November 8, 1961, in Hollywood, California. After his father left the family, he legally changed his name to Leif Garrett. It's safe to say that even as a child, Leif was exposed to the world of entertainment well enough to know that he wanted to be a part of it. In 1969, Leif Garrett made his debut on the big screen in the hit comedy Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice. And while his part was pretty minor, to the point where he didn't even get credit for it, it helped the young actor hone his skills and gave him a push that he really needed at such a young age. Garrett then moved onto television, where he had several guest starring roles in shows like Nanny and the Professor, Family Affair, Gunsmoke, Black Moon, and the FBI, helping him become a familiar face in Hollywood. But in 1973, when he turned 12, Garrett starred in the Southern action film Walking Tall, where he, along with his sister, played the role of one of the children. This role is what really helped the young star impress audiences with his skills, and as a result, he started getting offers left and right. He was then offered a lead role in the short-lived adventure show called 3 for the Road, a show about a widowed father and his 2 sons as they travel around the country on an adventure. And while the show was canceled after a few months of it being aired, the young actor was now in demand all over the country. Whether it was for films or TV shows, he was getting casted in all kinds of roles. Adding to his experience, Leif went on to appear in films such as Macomb County Line and Walking Tall Part 2, where he continued to stun audiences and critics with his powerful performances. And while his acting career was going pretty strong, the young actor knew that he wanted to pursue his second passion side by side. So he started with singing covers of hit 60s songs and performing them in front of an audience. And this gave him the confidence to write and perform original music. And in 1979, when he was 15, he managed to land a record deal with Atlantic Records. He released his debut album, which mostly featured his covers of the 60s songs. The self-titled album, Leif Garrett, released singles like Surfin' USA,
Blonde hair, Surfing USA.
Run Around Sue, Put Your Head on My Shoulder, and The Wanderer. The album hit US pop charts, peaking at number 37 and going gold in Australia. After that, the singer moved on to a different record label with the Scotti Brothers, and that's where he completely redefined his voice and genre, going for more of a disco-esque sound. His second studio album, titled Feel the Need, was released in 1978. The album peaked at number 34 on the Billboard 200 Albums chart and spawned 2 hit singles, I Was Made for Dancing,
Made for dancing, all night long.
and Feel the Need. Helping the young singer find a massive fan following among teenage girls, which is a pretty great demographic in the world of music. He started getting featured on popular teen magazines such as Tiger Beat, 16, and Teen Beat. So it's safe to say that by this point, Leif Garrett was a proper teen heartthrob. The album also released other singles like Sheila and When I Think of You. On the heels of the album's success, the Scotti brothers sent Leif back into the studio to record his 1979 album, Same Goes For You. However, despite his successful career as a teen idol, Garrett now claims that he was extremely unhappy at the time, especially because his producers were not entirely happy with the way he sounded. According to The Star, his music career feels like a lie because his label was always bringing in other singers who would overshadow Garrett's own voice on most of the songs, to the point where if you listen carefully, you would know that it wasn't him singing at all. Not just that, but his label also wanted him to keep making surf music, which is essentially just pop. And let's just say that the singer wanted to do something else, leading to a bit of a conflict. And as if this wasn't enough, Garrett's experience of early age stardom had now led him to a path of self-destruction. The Star says that he started doing drugs when he was as young as 14, and by the time he was 17, he had become addicted to this way of life. He would be partying all the time and was always around drugs and alcohol. And all of that had a negative impact on his career and personal life. But things really came to a halt when the young star was barely 18, and he was involved in a car crash that changed his life forever. A few days before his 18th birthday, Garrett, along with his friend Roland Winkler, was at a party where both of them had consumed a lot of alcohol and taken all kinds of drugs. Sadly, Garrett got behind the wheel, even though he was drunk and high, and as a result, he crashed the car, leaving his friend completely paralyzed from the waist down, which meant that the former dancer had to spend his entire life in a wheelchair. And while Garrett himself was unharmed, the entire accident led to an ugly battle between him and Winkler, which left the young singer and his family in financial turmoil. Garrett decided to take a break from all the spotlight because it was just overwhelming. Till the beginning of the 80s. He also released an album called My Movie of You, along with making appearances in films such as The Outsiders.
Jerry, what's going on? What are you doing? Just because we got a little drunk doesn't mean you have...
You call reeling and passing out in the streets a little? Bob, I've told you before, I'm never going out with you when you're drinking, and I mean it.
Soon after that, he started to fade away from the limelight. After a couple of years away from the entertainment world, Garrett made his comeback in 1990 and replaced David Cassidy as the host for 8-track Flashback on the cable music channel VH1. The channel then went on to feature Garrett in a 1999 episode of their Behind the Music series, where they talked about his life and the accident that completely changed it. The episode also showed Garrett and Winkler reuniting and making up with each other, with the singer talking about how difficult it was for him to battle his own drug addiction, claiming that he was now sober. However, shortly after the episode aired, Garrett was arrested in LA for trying to buy drugs. This arrest came at a time when Garrett was working on getting back into the music scene as a part of a group called Godspeed, but sadly that didn't work out. He then joined up with the Melvins as the vocalist and even tried to form his own hard rock band called F8, but sadly none of it worked out in the longer run. And after his music career started winding down, along with a string of failed relationships, Garrett tried to return back to acting. A noticeable role came his way when he starred in the 2003 David Spade film called Dickie Roberts, a former child star.
Hey man, good to see ya.
Oh my god, you're Leif Garrett. I used to have such a crush on you.
Can I have your autograph?
Sure. You guys want my autograph too, Dickie Roberts?
No, I'm fine.
How about if I put on a $5 bill?
Make it a 20?
Where he played a self-parodying role. But even then, Garrett continued to struggle with drugs and was even arrested in both 2004 and 2006 because of drug possession. But well, let's just say that hasn't stopped him from pursuing his acting and singing career with the same kind of passion that he had back in the day. Even after his arrest, he released a song called Barry Ford for Christmas the same year, and then he went on to appear on several reality shows such as Star Dates and Celebrity Fear Factor. In between all of this, the star also admitted himself into rehab to try and recover from his addiction. And after that, he continued making TV appearances and even released a solo album titled 3 Sides Of in 2007, which featured a re-recording of his most successful single, I Was Made for Dancing. His final drug arrest was in 2010 when he was found in possession of black tar heroin. After he got out, the star was a part of a season 4 of Celebrity Rehab, but according to him, it wasn't a good experience since the producers of the show tried to create drama and tried to make him use drugs for their storylines. However, since then, the former teen idol has been laying low, making a few appearances here and there, but mostly just focusing on staying out of trouble. He even used his life experiences to offer advice to Justin Bieber back in 2013, when the singer was going through a rocky phase, telling him to keep a close eye on who his real friends were, instead of believing that every scumbag and drug dealer really cared about him. Garrett's most recent project has been his 2019 memoir titled Idol Truth, where he dropped some pretty insane bombshells about his life as a teen idol. The star revealed that he was now sober and over his past addictions, and said because of his father abandoning their family, Garrett was exposed to the wrong kind of people who led him into the world of drugs. Then he went on to talk about the pressures of being a child star and how this entire career was micromanaged right from the start, leaving him with no independence about the kind of work he really wanted to do, sending him into a spiral of self-destruction. Because he was handsome, he felt as though that everything was given to him, and he really didn't work for it and wasn't worthy of it. Currently, the star is almost 60 years old and has been successfully sober for a while. And while he hasn't been in the public eye for some time since his book release, the star is currently working on some brand new music that he plans to share with the world very soon, showing how he has managed to come out strong despite all of the curveballs that life has thrown him over the years. Well, that's a wrap for the story of Leif Garrett. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more, and let me know down below, who do you love?
Who do you love? Who do you love? Support them. Tell them who do you love?